All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Carlyne Sainphor. Carlyne is the mother of three beautiful girls, Clever Cara, Miracle Marley, who you'll hear more about in a second, and Sassy Cassie. They each are so gifted and unique in their own ways. But let's talk about Carly. Okay, she is a New York City social worker focused on crisis intervention. Check out her lovely office and that nice daylight. Yes, she's a board member for Verkia Speaks. It's a nonprofit focused on lupus awareness. So they've got some events coming up in May. She's a Brooklyn baddie, and she's my former college roommate. We are
Penn State.
I know that's right.
I know that. Thanks for having me, Tiff. So why don't you tell me what we're going to talk about today?
Okay, so it is still April, yes, and April is Autism Acceptance Month. So I thought you could tell me a little bit about your journey with Marley, starting with your time in the NICU.
Okay, so if we are thinking about Miracle Marley and how she got that name, Marley was born about 4.5 months before she was supposed to be, right? About gestationally. So a normal pregnancy is deemed healthy after about 36 weeks. Marley was actually born at 22 weeks and six days. And even with that, I was in the hospital for a few days before that because they were trying to stop my contractions with her. Marley has always moved fast. She's trying to move fast. And even in the NICU, they called her a firecracker. So she's been great. But while she was in there, she was on high oxygen and she had 2 surgeries for her legs. And during that time, they did inform me that there may be some things that come up for her because of this high oxygen. They had to help her with her breathing a lot. So we were prepared for whatever possible developmental delays or physical delays that she may have. But when she was released from the hospital, our main focus was on the developmental side of it, as well as her breathing, because that was the biggest thing. Like we came home with all the equipment from the hospital to help her breathe and things like that.
Okay. All right. So you get home from the NICU. I think you were there about 5 months.
Correct.
Talk to me a little bit about her diagnosis.
So when you have a child who either has exhibited signs of certain things or was a preemie like Marley was, you have to sort of find a way to get them to their corrected age, so to get them to behave like their corrected age. So she came home with early intervention, which included physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and a physical educator. So we would have people who came into our house essentially every day of the week, and some of them came in 2 or 3 times a week just to help her get to where she needed to be. And they try to keep them in that milestone up until about 2 years old. So one day when the speech therapist was working with her, she noticed that she doesn't really respond to her name, which is one of the signs of autism. But before we could officially do that diagnosis, you always do medical before you do mental. So we took her to the doctor. We found out that she actually didn't hear very well. She had fluid in her ears. So they did surgery to remove that fluid. But then even after that, she still didn't respond to things very well. So she sent us to both neurology and psychiatry, who gave her a temporary diagnosis, but then sent us to developmental specialists who would be able to see her in person. So granted, all these things were happening during COVID. So a lot of things were happening online. The developmental specialist ran her tests, and then got back to the psychiatrist, who then confirmed that Marley had autism.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit about how life is for your family. Let's start with just like the day-to-day.
So day to day, it's kind of hectic like any other family, but with Marley, we always have to pay attention to what's going on. Marley doesn't really have a sense of danger. So she will move in a way that will put herself in certain situations that aren't necessarily the best. So like the biggest thing is the fact that she elopes from the house as soon as she gets an opportunity to, meaning that if there's a door open or if she can unlock a door, she's out of there very quickly. And because of that, she wears a GPS that's attached to her clothes at all times. It gives me real time information about where she is, and actually the ability to communicate with her as she gets older. So if she has any problems, she can just press the button and then she can speak to me like if she has a cell phone.
Okay. So that sounds like being on high alert all the time could be pretty stressful. What do you do to get some relief, some vacation if you can?
So in terms of vacations, I've sort of resonated in the fact that I'm not going to be able to do like full on vacations at this moment of my life. I can try to plan a day or two, but whether it's anxiety, whether it's I don't feel like the support is doing as much as I would like them to do, I like to make sure that I am near her or with particular people who I know would be safe to babysit her at all times. So we make sure that doors are locked at all times, that she's always in the line of sight of someone who's in the house. Someone is there to help her toilet because she does still wear a diaper. We're learning. We pay attention when she's trying to tell us what she needs because she's still learning to speak. We're aware that she has issues with like sound. So she has noise canceling headphones. So if we're going someplace, so like my other two daughters, they dance, and when they have their concerts, she has to make sure she has those on because the music is just way too loud for her. And she will, I don't want to say act out because that's such a vague term, but she will have some issues where, she may try to run from the space because it's too much for her. So we just have to be very careful about where we're going, what we're doing, or even something as simple as the park. So I know that if there are too many children in there, she gets really excited. But her excitement comes in the frame of, I'm going to now push children, or I'm going to like step on someone's foot, or I might bite them. So I'm fully aware that there are certain parks I can go to that only have one entrance exit. So I stand by that entrance exit during most of the time, unless I'm right next to her. And once I see a lot more kids coming in, then I start to wrap up time because yes, while I want to make sure she has time in the community, I also have to make sure that the community is safe because she hasn't yet learned to regulate where she is.
What about time for you?
I am working on that. And by working on it, I mean not very well, but I do take certain days. So like dad picks up Marley and her sister on Tuesdays. So that's my day. Like if I want to go work out or I want to go visit with friends, everyone in my life knows Tuesday nights, you have my attention. Or if I just want to sleep on that night, I do that. There is a program at Marley's school that she goes to every once in a while, and they work for about 4 hours. So if I need to get some shopping done without her, then I'll do that. But for the most part, I don't have too much time for myself. I kind of wish I had a place like Jill's house where I can like drop her off and either get pampered or just get some time for myself while she's still doing something enjoyable, because I wouldn't want it to be where she's just sitting around. I want her to have fun doing something.
Hearing you talk a little bit about that, it reminds me of talking to my friend Jan. Her son Nico is autistic. And that's actually how I found out about Jill's house. So I say, next time you are down for a road trip, you come to Casa Gordine, and then we take Marley over to Jill's house.
I'm here for it.
Awesome. All right, last question. What's something that you want to know? What's something that you want the world to know about our autistic babies and our autistic adults?
Well, the biggest thing is that we shouldn't put limits on them, right? Like they are growing up in this world and have to be a part of this world. They want to be independent, just like everyone else. So giving them the opportunity to be the best version of themselves is the best thing that we can do for both the world and for ourselves and for them. So let's give them whatever it is that they need to be as independent as possible and allow them to see and show what they have.
Yeah. I like what you're saying. Don't limit the possibilities for them or for anyone. And I think also just being more accepting and aware, right? Like we were talking offline the other day, and you were telling me about how TSA has a whole special process for autistic babies and individuals, right? So I think the more that the world is aware of the accommodations that would help them to be more successful, right, the more successful they will be, the more opportunities they will have to really shine. Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope this conversation we had inspires other people to be more aware and accepting of how awesome our autistic babies and adults are. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.